So it looks like the markets have found some kind of support after what has been the most brutal week that I've ever seen in crypto. And I guess the big question on all of our minds is this the beginning of a crypto winter, another bear market, or is this just another routine correction in a market that was overheated? That is what we're going to be talking about today. And remember that today is Friday, so it's not just me, but it's me and all my friends, because Fridays are about banter. And Donkey. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you all again. We were here just a few hours ago, and we were just looking at the charts, and Sheldon was telling us what he thinks is going to happen. And now it's time to find out what my friends think is going to happen on the market, because we all want to know the big question, the big question, the big question, the big question. What is the big question? Should I buy now? Should I take the money that I have left and just exit all markets? Are we going to get another leg down? Are we going into another long, depressing crypto winter? Or is that just post-traumatic stress disorder that 2017 OGs have? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you're new to our channel, welcome, welcome. This is the most profitable community in crypto. I'm Crypto Man Run. I'm your host. I'm your host through the bull market and, well, kind of what seems to be the bear market. If you're new to our channel, you want to subscribe to our channel, and I'll show you why you want to subscribe to our channel, because not only do we have 281,000, okay, slow down, guys, slow down. Not only do we have 281,921 subscribers, but we're also the only channel in the world that has the Banter bags, baby. And we have launched the new Banter bags. So Banter bags 2 has now been launched. When we get to 500,000 subscribers, we will release the Banter bags. And we are investing these Banter bags in pre-market allocations. We take $10,000. We invest the $10,000 in pre-market allocations. When those pre-market allocations come to market, they used to do 100x and 200x and 300x. Today, we're going to find out whether we can still get those things done. And then we give those to the community. And we haven't decided yet how many members of the community, but we will give them to subscribers on YouTube. And you know that these bags are made to change lives. We changed 9 people's lives in the previous Banter bags. And we changed a lot of people's lives because we're going to give about $70,000 to charity at the current rate. So amazing, amazing thing. And we want to change a whole lot of lives. Also, another reminder, if you want to get your spot in Sniper School, so you have to be a subscriber to our YouTube, but we're going to be giving away the Sniper School spots free. Yeah, Sniper School is free. Free. And you can get your spot just by subscribing to our Instagram. So guys, if you're here and you want to make some noise and you want to be noticed and you want to get Banter bags and you want to get Sniper School, smash up those likes. Let's tell everyone that we're live on the stream and that it's Friday and we're going to banter. And I see that there are 8,000 of you watching and there are 3,600 likes. Is that because it's a bear market? I mean, is this all because it's a bear market? Is this what's going on here? Like bear market shit, you guys don't want to give us likes. Guys, remember I told you about the little birdie, the one little birdie that was over there by the window. Remember that little birdie that flew in? Remember what I told you? Fred, play the video of what that birdie told us 2 weeks ago exactly. Here's the big news. Got that. A little birdie. It flew, it landed on the tree over there. The little birdie came to me and said, this is what the little birdie said. Okay, are you ready for this? She said, 2 weeks from now, there's going to be an announcement by a big exchange. Yeah? It's a big exchange in a big country that used to have an orange president and now has a very old president. Okay? And that big exchange, 2 weeks from now, that big exchange, of which I will not name because then it's just going to be inside information. The big exchange in the big country with the big orange president and now the big old president is going to list Solana. Okay, so did you see that? Do you remember that show exactly 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks later, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Exhibit A. Coinbase Pro started today. Inbound transfers of Solana are now available. Guys, if you're not watching this show, you're missing out on all the inside information. This is the only show in the world that just gives you inside information. You know where I get my inside information from? Coach K. Coach K gives me all the inside information. So SEC, if you want to know where I get my inside information from, my inside information comes from Coach K. Coach K lives in Thailand. American. Used to be American, now lives in Thailand. You can't catch him, even if you want to, even if you want to catch him. That's where I get all my information from, guys. That's where I get all my information from. You know who else gives me inside information? Lisa Edwards. She always gives me inside information. So if you want to know where I get my inside info from, this is where I get my inside info from. All right. Let's get down to business before we get into the Friday banter. And we do have Friday banter here, and it's a big, big, big banter. Freddie, who's here for banter? Do we have like a banter tile or something where we can show everybody who is here for banter? So we've got Lisa Edwards, we've got Winston Wolf, we've got Mr. Biz, and we've got Coach K. Coach K is back. Oh no, and I've just ripped into him about being inside information. Oh, I don't know what we're going to do there. Okay, we'll work that out. We'll work that out. All right, so let's talk about. Let's do like a post-mortem of this last week. It's been the bloodiest week in crypto. Let's do a post-mortem. Let's discuss what happened. And then once we know what happened, then we can decide where we're going forward. And then I also want to talk to you about this new US tax proposal on crypto, because I think it's not bad. And I think it brings two opportunities for us. And I don't think that anybody else has caught onto those opportunities. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to start the Friday banter. So quickly, let's get into it. What happened this week? I think the consensus is very, very, very simple. Too many weak hands, too many retail hands, all getting liquidated. So I don't know if you guys saw this tweet, which I used to have on my screen, but I now don't have on my screen, but I will find it for you guys. It is the big question. Over the last week, the average Bitcoin that moved on chain was at a net loss, which basically means weak retail hands selling their Bitcoin. During neutral or bullish phases of the cycle, those have historically been good time to buy. So who's buying these Bitcoin? Big question is, did this big crash manage to shake out all the weak hands? That's what we're going to be looking at today. So when I need to know things like this, where do I go? I go to Willy Woo, and Willy Woo published a very cool tweet thread today. And it's a very long tweet thread. I'm going to read the whole thing to you about things. But what he says basically is that derivatives leverage climbed to all-time highs. And that's exactly what we said. There was too many leverage hands. Leverage is now flushed out the system with $3.2 billion in liquidation in total. He says the capitulation is now completed. Are we in a bull market? Long-range macro indicators like NVT ratio are now healthy and remain unchanged. So yes, this is not a mania top, which all BTC bull markets end in. Price is below fundamentals, not above it. So according to him, we are still halfway. Listen to this. New users of the network have actually increased markedly since Elon's tweet at 55K. New users have been buying the dip. The publicity has been good for Bitcoin. Small retail earning less than 1 BTC continue to grow at increasing healthy rates, completely unperturbed by this flash crash. It is still a bull market. It's becoming clear that the leverage that we had, the leverage derivatives market, put BTC price under pressure. See COVID 2020 bull market capitulation. So Willy Woo says that we are still very, very, very much in a bull market. He also says exchange flows are showing titles of coins flowing into exchanges. There's some amount of very localized withdrawal, so relief bounce is open to play out in the short term. Technical analysis show we are due for trend exhaustion and reversal. Overall, there's a lot of coins that need to be absorbed. So still more pain to come, according to Willy Woo. He also says, Musk hit FUD at a glorious time to knock the price. The consolidation range did not withstand the whale spot selling that was instigated. As it turned out, a lot of new buyers were prone to the FUD. So I figure, he ends us off by saying, I figure we have a few months of recovery and reaccumulation to process this sell-off. And I guess that is what the sentiment is. The sentiment is that we're not going to recover quickly. Sheldon said it earlier. Lee said it earlier. We ain't going to recover quickly. I think that the days of making easy money in crypto are over, certainly for a while. So, and I also think another thing. I think that when we accumulate, it's going to take 1 or 2 or 3 altcoins explosions to give the market the confidence that the bull market may continue if this is a bull market. And today, we're going to be talking about whether this is a bull market with my friends from Banter. What we are seeing, though, is that there is no more death talk about crypto. There's no more capitulation talk about crypto not being a thing. Everyone's kind of saying, look, crypto is still a thing. No one's saying this is the end of crypto. Crypto was a bubble. It's gone. All they are saying is that the market ran up too quickly. And I want to play you a few clips just to remind you and to show you. Certainly, this is one of my favorite ones.
Well, remember, crypto has come from nowhere to be a force in the market. It's, in effect, a gold substitute for some. And I have invested in not cryptocurrencies myself, but in things that I would say facilitate the trading of it in various companies that are helping to trade or make it easier for people to be involved with cryptocurrency. And I did that in part because I think it's here to stay. Cryptocurrency is not going away, just like gold is not going away. So yes, it had its ups and downs, and yesterday was not a good day for it. But that's true of anything that is relatively new. And I don't think you're going to see anything like crypto going away and disappearing. It's here, and it's here because people in the market want something other than just the traditional currencies that we've had. And whether that's right or wrong, it's clearly something that the market wants. So yes, if you go into cryptocurrencies, you should expect big ups and downs and big fluctuations. And if you're not prepared for that, don't go into cryptocurrency. But the idea that cryptocurrency is going to go away or that the government is going to be able to stop cryptocurrency from being something investors want, I think is unrealistic at this point.
So crypto is not actually going away. Now, why this is so exciting is because in every other correction in the history of crypto, whenever these things used to happen, everyone used to say, okay, crypto is going away. This is the end of crypto. We told you it was a bubble. This technology will never work. DeFi will never work. What we realized in this correction was that if one thing really, really, really works, it is DeFi. I don't know if you guys saw this tweet, but I want to read you this tweet because I think it just shows. It says, it's by Jim Clancy. It says, yesterday was a pretty incredible day in DeFi. We saw a lot of people talking about how well DeFi performed, but wanted to dive into some numbers that I found particularly impressive. Now, listen to this. DEXs had an absolutely incredible day. Uniswap V2, V3, and SushiSwap all smashed their all-time highs, with many DEXs. DEXs had their first combined day of $10 billion in daily volume trade, which dwarfs the centralized exchanges. And this is where, of course, all the volume came from. Now, lending platforms with liquidation mechanisms that were the hardest hit in Black Friday last year displayed how far they've come since then. Aave had the biggest day of liquidations without any issues. Compound users seemed especially well positioned for this dip yesterday. It wasn't even a record-breaking day of liquidations for them. Maker, who struggled a lot during the last dip in Black Friday, didn't have a single issue yesterday. And the list goes on and on and on. Now, the centralized exchanges didn't have such a good day. Every single centralized exchange went offline. CoinGecko went offline. Binance went offline. Binance started to stop deposits, stop withdrawals, stop leverage trading of tokens. Coinbase went down. That was all over CNBC. What we are seeing here is that DeFi has come of age. It's being battle tested. Last time it got battle tested, or last time it got into battle, it took a couple of injuries. And now DeFi is back, baby. And this time, you can't beat it. DeFi did not go down for one bit, given a record-breaking day. What that shows is that DeFi is almost ready to start replacing the traditional system, and that crypto is certainly not going away. Why am I so excited about this? I'll tell you why I'm so excited about this. Because I remember the days where Bitcoin was being battle tested. I remember the days where people didn't believe that Bitcoin was going to survive. And only after many, many, many tests did people finally accept Bitcoin. And the same thing is now happening in DeFi, which means that Ethereum will run, DeFi will run, BSC will run. Maybe one day Cardano, if it ever launches smart contracts, will run. Polkadot. These things aren't going away. So this is just a temporary glitch in a bull market. And if these things aren't actually going away, hold on. You know how I know these things aren't going away? I'll tell you how I know it's not going away. Because the US government woke up. Like, the US government, the sleeping giant, woke up. And they came up with this, Joe Biden, all the guy does is just think about taxes. All the guy does is just think, okay, how can I tax? How can I tax? How can I tax? That's because they're in big trouble. They've got all these spending plans that they want to implement, but they don't have money. And they now turn to crypto to try and get this money. And they're doing this through a new tax proposal that would in their eyes, stop people not declaring their crypto profits. And what they're kind of saying is they're saying, look, banks have to report any inflows and outflows to exchanges. That's okay. But now what they're also doing is they're putting crypto exchanges in the same category as banks. And they're saying, look, any inflows and outflows, you have to report to the IRS. They're also saying, get this, that any payments of $10,000 to any business that are made with crypto need to be reported. So basically what they want to do is they want to put a whole lot of surveillance on crypto to make sure that people do not evade or avoid their crypto taxes anymore. And the big issue here is that because everything on the blockchain is immutable, this whole law of storing your taxes for the 5 years is now out the window. And they can go back to the blockchain in 20 years and say, look, 20 years ago, you never declared this. Look, here are the transactions. This is like one of the big issues in Bitcoin. So that's what they said. And the most encouraging part that I read in the entire statement, and you can read the statement in a Forbes article. I don't think, oh, here we go. I do have the whole Forbes article here. You can see it. It's a long, very boring article, which I don't recommend anyone reads. But they say, included in the plan are new reporting rules that would require banks and institutions to report information about account inflows and outflows to the IRS in a way to detect unreported income. Cryptocurrencies, crypto asset exchanges, and custodians and crypto payment services would be subject to the reporting rule. In other words, they are treating them like banks. Also included in the new plan is a rule that, if implemented, would require any business to file a current transaction report whenever they receive cryptocurrencies worth $10,000 or more. Basically, what the IRS are saying is, we want our fucking money. Give us our money. Give us more taxes. Joe Biden, taxes. The most encouraging part of this whole thing is, this is what they said, the Treasury said, despite constituting a relatively small portion of business income today, cryptocurrencies are likely to rise in importance in the next decade, especially in the presence of the broad-based financial account reporting regime. And basically what they're saying is, we want our taxes. So, as usual, when they talk about what they're going to do, I see opportunity, and I see opportunity for our community, and I see opportunity that I don't think that everybody else is seeing. There are a few tokens that are actually going to benefit from this. You know who they are? Well, obviously, the decentralized exchanges. Uniswap, SushiSwap, right? They're going to benefit from this. But they're not going to be the big winners here. And I'll tell you why. Because as much as they are decentralized exchanges, there are central points there. So, like if the US government wants to go after Uniswap, they'll go to Hayden Adams. They'll find Hayden Adams. They'll find him. And they will say, look, switch off your protocol or get KYC. They'll find a way to do it. SushiSwap, less so. Okay. There are two protocols that, to me, if this tax law gets implemented, are going to be the biggest winners yet. And you know what the best thing is? They never ran yesterday. The obvious choices ran yesterday. So what are the obvious choices? Let's look at what the obvious choices are. The obvious choices for me were Monero. Like, obviously, Monero, if the government's going to start imposing ridiculous tracking of taxes on cryptocurrencies, which is why, by the way, Coach moved to Thailand. Like, if you want to know why Coach moved to Thailand, didn't want to pay American taxes. So he ran away, he fled to Thailand. So in this down market, look what happened to Monero. Monero went up 9.3% because of this tax. But that's like the obvious thing. Like, everyone's talking about Monero. You know what people are not talking about? For me, it is, I would go as far as to say it's possibly the most important token in the entire crypto ecosystem at the moment. Okay, and no one's talking about it. Okay, the token's ThorChain. And the reason why I say you guys should look at the ThorChain token, this is truly the only decentralized exchange, or the only decentralized interchain, cross-chain protocol on the market. So if you want to swap your Bitcoin for your Ethereum and your Ethereum for DOT and whatever else on a decentralized protocol, then ThorChain is the only one out there that is totally decentralized. There's no way that the government can go to get information about ThorChain. So for me, ThorChain right now, if this tax thing comes on, you can buy ThorChain I mean, it's had a hell of a run this year. We've spoken about it on the show many times. It's gone up 10,000% this year. It still only has a market cap of 2.8 billion. And for me, it's one of the most important tokens in the entire ecosystem. And after the show, I'm going to buy some. So please do not front run me. I know you guys. I know how you guys operate. You front run me all the time. Okay. The next token, which is super important if the Biden administration implements this, is a token that we've spoken about before. It's called Tornado Cash. Remember what Tornado Cash does? It's super cheap now, by the way. What Tornado Cash does is it allows you to deposit money into one ETH address. And then it scatters it over multiple ETH addresses. So when you want the money paid to a vendor, it pays it from an address that is not linked to the deposit address, which means that the government can never, ever track where this money came from. And the Tornado Cash protocol is so decentralized that the devs burnt the keys, that even the devs themselves can't get into the protocol. So it's a truly decentralized protocol. We'll talk more about those protocols on Monday because I think I want to talk about the more important thing today. And that is bull market versus bear market. But I had to bring you this news because I think that these two are sleeping. Like, I think RUNE 25% on a day when this may happen. Crazy. And it's the top coin in on my shopping list if there's another dip. And if you look at Tornado Cash, I mean, guys, seriously, this token was trading at $400. It's trading at $48. It's trading at 10% of its all-time high. If you're not buying Tornado Cash at this price, then I don't know. No one can help you. Not even Lisa can help you.
No.
Lisa, how are you?
No, I'm well. How are you?
So good to have you back on Banter. Coach, welcome back. So good to have you back on.
How's it going?
Oh, God, look at this.
Apparently I'm tax evading. I'm a tax evader.
Not a tax evader. You just got inside information.
What is going on in your thing?
What's going on, guys? What's going? You know, Coach, I used to be an auditor, man. So you're lucky you weren't in America, man. I would have locked your ass away, man.
Oh, it's a good thing I'm Canadian. Whew.
Here's the deal. We've got like a whole lot of people watching, but we don't have a lot of likes. Now, what I'm thinking is if we get someone's echoing, I think it's just get yourself some headphones, bro. Take some crypto profits and get yourself some headphones, bro. Okay, so we have 6,100 likes. There are 15,000 people watching. I'm thinking if we get 12,000 likes, we bring Fred into the stream. What do you say, guys?
Fred, let's get him in here, man. I love Fred.
Fred, if we get like 12,000 likes, can we bring him to the stream?
I'll tell you what. I'll stay on. Let's stay on.
No. 12,000 likes, bro. Only 12,000 likes, and you'll bring Fred into the stream.
15,000 likes, and I join the stream.
Okay, 15,000 likes, and Freddie joins the stream. Wow, guys, that's huge. Freddie said he'd never reveal himself. All right, guys, welcome. Welcome to our Friday Banter. Love you all. Good to see you all, and good to hear the rest that I'm not really seeing. Big question today, of course, the question on everyone's mind, and that is, what shampoo does Coach K use on his hair?
It's a good question.
No, in all seriousness, the big
Head and shoulders so he doesn't get dandruff.
Head and shoulders?
The big question, of course, is, guys, is this the end of the bull market, or is this just a correction in due course from a market that has been overheated? What are we looking at? Coach, love to hear your views. Winston, the market is, he just got a thing going.
It's giving us opportunities, guys. If we see a pretty volatile dump here, just look for what you've been planning now. Like, this is the plan time. This is time to go, okay, I was going to buy here, set your limit orders. And if it goes down there, sweet, awesome. Like, this is not the time to be waiting around for it to come down. This is the time to plan where you're going to buy it and have it buy it when it comes down, when you're not paying attention, because it'll go down there and it'll come back up and you'll miss it. So plan it out right now. But
Coach, if I go by that theory, what you're basically saying is that this is not the end of the bull market. You're saying that the market is actually going to recover.
It will. It's not going to cover, like, I agree with Sheldon and many others saying it's not going to recover super fast, I don't think that will happen. But there's also reasons yesterday why based off why it would happen, based off of like my trading company and knowing what was going on the inside of Binance. That was pretty messed up. Like they basically turned off every single institutional and retail API on their whole entire platform. And then it seemed too obvious, like there was some coordination going on. Of course, that's a little tinfoil hat, but like CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap both going down, followed by Coinbase and Binance and Kraken, and the market all of a sudden having a velocity of stop losses, right? Like, I don't think people understand when you put a stop loss and people push the market down and it hits the stop loss, it sells all those tokens and it becomes a cascading effect. And I think that's why they actually turned off the APIs, because they couldn't stop it.
Not true, because I don't think the exchanges can handle the volume. I think CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, they can't handle the volume. There were just too many people worried about their portfolio. The refresh rate was too high. The servers just simply cannot handle it. I don't think. I mean,
but like Binance has in their own actual like their own documentation, it says basically that if their price feeds go down, they have secondary and third price feeds. So there should have been one of them of the 3 or 4 that they're using that was up, but it was like it was one of the scarier moments of my life because their price feeds were 50% off. So I went on my futures account. I was like, oh my god, what's going on here? But I think like yesterday was a little bit more than what I believe to be a normal correction. It was something else. There was something else going on. Binance, DOJ, like.
Lisa, what do you think?
Well, yeah. So with that domino effect, and with the, we had like serious amount of leverage in the market, and that was just, it needed to be flushed out. And it's like, I'm forever telling my group, stay out of leverage, because this is what happens. This is like scary stuff. So it's like, people were taking loans and they were buying into Bitcoin. And, I've heard some horror stories on Twitter that, they took loans, $10,000, $20,000, bought in leverage, totally liquidated, now have to pay those loans back. And, this is the crazy thing. The greed was just way too high and it needed to be flushed out. It just needed to be like, taken out.
You know what worries me is that I think I agree with you. I think the consensus is that this was a flash of all the leverage hands in the market. I think there's no doubt that the fundamentals show it. I think I may actually even have a couple of charts here. Let me just have a look here. I think Freddie will put them up for us. So we know this is all the leverage liquidations, but the leverages got warning a few weeks before that. On the 10th of May or the 14th of May or whatever it was, there was a big correction over the weekend, and it was the biggest leverage day. And people then came back and took more leverage.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is. I mean,
yeah, they did. It was crazy. It was just, but we were in this massive big channel as well. So, exchanges knew that all the stops were going to be underneath there. So as soon as they pushed it down underneath that channel support, it just went straight down. And it's like, it was just crazy.
Yeah, okay, if you're cascading millions of dollars, it's just going to keep pushing it down.
It's just like keep going. It's just there's nothing you can do. You just sit there and
it's just market stop loss. If you understand how books work, the second that engages, your book is cleared and it clears out and stops the person, and the next person's stop loss hits and they get cleared out, and it's just going to keep going and going. So it's scary, but you know what? That wasn't as bad of the liquidation day as it was on May 14th or whatever it was. So it's pretty interesting that there already was that cleaned out, and now they double cleaned it.
Yeah, but we think about like when BitMEXC went down in March last year, and the trading engines all failed and everything, and we went down to 3K. That was like at that point, from 10K to 3K was more massive than what this is percentage wise. So yeah.
Okay.
To be fair, that was a totally different set of circumstances there. That was like worldwide global panic as opposed to just a little crypto bubble and reaction to what's going on in our own world.
So, this is exactly what right now, this is a crypto correction. This is not a world stock market correction. So we can't compare it. We do, however, so this is Fred putting up the chart. The total leverage positions, which is the red line, right now is lower than it was in 2017. So we have completely reset the leverage. There are very, 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 very few leverage hands in the market now.
Yeah, to be fair, also in 2017, like pretty much BitMEX was your leverage option. Now there's a bunch of different platforms to take leverage bets on. So like the availability of it leads to more people doing it. And to be fair, for a long time, like, you know, in a bull market, which we were in, like buying the dip and longing the dip and that sort of stuff it's been a pretty successful strategy. The problem with any of those sorts of strategy is it works till it doesn't.
Okay, so Winston, you said something, and it's quite scary the way you said it. You said in a bull market that we were in. I mean, what you're saying is so scary that Coach has even gone fuzzy. His camera's gone a bit fuzzy.
Oh, is he doing it again?
So, Winston, is that it? Is that the end of the bull market? Should we pack it up?
Look, I was being slightly facetious there. I think it's too early to call. I do think. Like basically, like you said before, there was a correction. Like the leverage sort of stuff was a cascading effect. It wasn't what caused it. It just got caught up in it. This is a cool off. It's going to take some time to sort of even out here. You can see that like these sorts of natural movements are piled on with, you know, people looking to manipulate the market. Just while we've been on the stream, you know, there's been news coming out with China and banning Bitcoin mining or regulating it. There's stuff in Hong Kong going that if you trade crypto under $1 million, you need to be regulated. Like this is the type of stuff that people will use as ammunition in times like this to force prices down. So, you know, like trend is friend in any of these sorts of markets. And I definitely think that like we're in a bearish trend as opposed to a bullish trend, whether we are in a bear market or not. Like we'll see. You can't call it after a couple of days kind of thing. I did publish a tweet on my Twitter, which, you know, like I remain bearish until I see anything different, you know, and it takes more than a few days of, you know, positive sentiment to sort of turn that around. And, you know, that's why people rushing out and buying the dip the other day, you know, for a short-term trade, a lot of people did really well off that. You know, it was a very high-risk strategy, and I'd definitely say to people, like, play it safely at this point in time.
Absolutely. Okay. I would wait to the weekly close this week to kind of get a good idea of what the range where we're going, because right now we're not in a good space for a macro trend. We're okay, but like this is not a good levels to be losing right here on the weekly on Bitcoin.
But have you guys been seeing what happens every time we go up? And you know, ETH is almost at 3,000 yesterday. There's some news that comes out. The first piece of FUD that came out today. The first piece of FUD that came out today of China of saying Hong Kong will only let people who have over $1 million trade. That didn't really crash the market. Now Walter Bloomberg, literally when we started the stream, tweets China reiterates call for crackdown on Bitcoin mining. And so anytime Walter Bloomberg trades, I'm hoping he buys and he sells. I'm hoping this guy's making money off of his tweets. But anytime, and I mean right now the market's going down because every day we have major FUD, and that wipes away any progress we've made. So, you know, I'm not bearish. My theory on this is I think low caps are dead. I'm not touching any low caps. I think people that do have hope are moving their funds from low caps to big caps because those have narratives. Polkadot's got, you know, the parachain narrative. Link's got Arbitrum. ETH's got EIP, right? Even Cardano's got smart contracts. Solana's got narrative. To me, I think certain big caps will continue to do well. I think low caps, it's one of those things like who's going to go out and shill my low cap bags right now? That's one of those things. And I don't think anybody wants to be touching low caps right now.
Guys, I'm going to remind you that when this thing turns, it turns quickly. If we have 3 up days and we break $50,000 again, people are going to start moving back to low cap alts again.
100%.
This market moves really quickly. Now,
well, Ray, I disagree because I'm telling you from my community, a lot of people just got into crypto. A lot of my followers just got into crypto this year. They're down 70, 75, 80, 90%. They're so scarred by this dump that they're thinking, all right, now I need to preserve my capital. Also, you know, not just liquidations. The reason this dump happened is because there are people who woke up, they saw their net worth down 50%, and you know, you can't tell them about diamond hands. They're just gonna dump. These people haven't been in the market for long. They thinking their life is over. I've had my friend from Spectre. He's got people in his DMs saying they want to commit suicide. These people are so scarred by the low caps, you know. And so I think people are now going to move more into safe assets. That's just my thinking.
I'm not the hugest fan of the diamond hands narrative anyway.
Me
I
either.
think, you know, even if you believe in crypto long term, which I am a believer, and a lot of the stuff you said earlier on the show, Rand, does ring true. You can't fight market movements like this, and you need to be agile and adaptive when these things happen. And you know,
what does that mean? What does that mean? Sell your positions now, or does that mean? I mean, let's call.
Well, it depends. It depends on the timing. You can't wake up and sell at the bottom of a panic dump. But you know, like when there is a panic dump,
which most people probably did.
Well, yeah, and that is you know, not to be facetious on those people either, Biz, but like this is their first lesson in crypto. You know, like they've just been chilling at the back of their class till now, and like now they're earning their stripes. But you know, if you are looking to exit, you know, like there's always a bounce, and we saw this over the last, you know, 24 hours, 48 hours, or whatever it was. Yeah, there was a bounce after the massive panic dump. That's the time to exit if you want to exit, and then chill on the sidelines, and then look to come back at a later date. And my point is that I think that, you know, like this is the time to wait and see as opposed to be making moves right now.
Yeah, I definitely think we need to be sitting on the sidelines and just watching what's happening. And that's kind of what, you know, I'm doing at the moment. You know, I'm kind of, you know, I'm buying some spot here and there, but there's no leverage, none whatsoever.
Okay, so what are you guys buying? I mean, do you guys have a shopping list? Do you guys have like a list of tokens that you guys are like looking at? And I mean, and what?
Yeah.
And then I guess the next question is, when are you buying them? Are you expecting another like really violent leg down, or like are you buying it now?
I'm
expecting another one.
Sorry, you guys go.
Okay, Lisa.
Yeah.
Everyone just jumps in. Yeah, I've got 10 coins that I'm sort of jumping into, like DCA as it sort of drops. And yeah, I haven't started buying yet because I still think we're going to drop a little bit more. But yeah, I'll start sort of buying. I've got ICP, I've got KSM.
Okay, hold on. ICP, amazing choice. Not many people know about ICP. What's your price target on ICP? So when you talk about, by the way, ICP guys,
so Divinity, like this is from like 2017. This was an ICO back then, and this is epic. So there's a video with Vitalik talking about ICP being the ETH killer. This is how good this is, and nobody talks about it. It's like, you know, so. This one, it came back 100%. So it had one of the strongest bounces in this dip. And yeah, this has to be a long-term hold because this is going to do sort of, you know, the ETH prices, the 3000s.
Okay. ICP is one. Kusama, I mean, Kusama is on my shopping list too.
Yeah. RVP, so Revolution Populi. So this has got like the most amazing team. And you know, they're just doing some big things. So it's had a major dip at the moment, but you know, everything did. So good time to buy it. Matic, KCS, because I'm going to be buying some of these, you know, exchange tokens because I think, you know, Kucoin's doing some amazing stuff with, you know, IDOs and that sort of stuff happening at the moment. DOT, obviously, that's a no-brainer. eGold, BNB, exchange point again, Chainlink, XRP, because I think we're going to get, you know, that.
Sorry, I think Lisa said XRP, so we had to remove her off the stream.
ADA and Travala. So that's my bags, my 10 bags that I'm buying.
I'll let you know that you took her off for a second.
We took you off. I didn't
No, you did. I just kept walking. It's like I saw them go off, and I'm like, oh damn.
Okay, Winston, are you buying anything, or are you just sitting on the sidelines and counting your money?
USDC, that's what I'm buying. Look, man, I don't think like it's an appropriate time to sort of like come on and chill coins or whatever at this point in time. I think like put a shopping list together and look for, you know, the things that you should have been looking for anyway, rather than chasing like trends. I think when it comes to buying, you know, obviously there's like more savvy traders out there who can trade these sorts of dips and bounces quite well. And if you are looking to, you know, like accumulate long-term bags, like Lisa was saying, put the list together, but sit on it for now and wait for opportunity. And probably do a little bit of DCAing along the way. I probably wouldn't start doing that just yet, though, because I think, I'm not saying you, just in general for the you know, the newbies out there. I think, you know, a lot of this is based off risk versus reward, and you know, it's always lovely to buy the bottom, the absolute bottom. But you know, when this market move, like you said, it will come back quickly. And you don't have to get in on it at the very start. You can get in along it on the way up, you know, and reduce your risks like that. So I just urge a bit of caution there in that regard.
Are you buying anything?
Yeah, I bought Link and Dot around 25, 26 each. I've been buying the last few days. Link, Dot, you know, I'm good with my ETH and my KSM positions. But Link and Dot, just because, you know, again, this is, you know, even if let's say everybody's bearish, but Link's got Arbitrum coming up on the 28th, and you know, they're gonna be Arbitrum is going to be backed by Link nodes, and Arbitrum essentially is like a layer 2 scaling solution. You know, Dot's got the parachain narrative. Same with KSM. ETH's got EIP 1559. And again, any other, you know, coins that have really good narratives, those are the ones you want to look at, because they're the ones. I mean, look at the biggest communities. They're not gonna fold. They're gonna keep holding their tokens. Whereas again, I keep saying these small caps, man. If people aren't shilling your bags on Twitter, get out of them, because that means they got out of them.
Yeah.
That's it. I would say so anything that does the same stuff as every other protocol, you should be dumping those bags. Like I literally had a really funny conversation with some of the guys from Card Starter today. And we were talking about just that, like how we should have a Shark Tank and just be like, yeah, yo, you're doing a DeFi swapping protocol. Holy crap, you're another one of those. Great, you suck. Next, you know what I mean? Because that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at right now. We're at the point where
right. There's so many of these projects that are coming out that like literally exactly the same as something else. And, you know, if you're not the first at something, man, nobody wants to hear it anymore. And honest to God, people are so wrecked of all these new tokens that I mean, honest to God, like, you know, I feel bad for shillers right now.
It's just not innovative anymore, man. It's not innovative. Like people are like, hey, we're doing this cool thing. And I'm like, bro, I saw this in 2017. It's not really that innovative. Oh, we already developed something. Well, it's not that interesting. I'm getting to the point where like the pitches aren't exciting anymore.
Guys,
I just want to, can I just dial it back for a moment there, Rand? Because I just want to talk on business point there in regards to the low caps and like what just happened. And I think that this is something that people need to be aware of is that a lot of these low caps trade on something like Uniswap. And one of the issues with something like Uniswap when something like this happens is it melts down a little bit. Two, a lot of the liquidity out there is actually provided by, you know, community members and token holders. So one of the first things that they do is that they pull liquidity. So one of the big lessons in this and one of the attractions of majors along the way, as always, is that you know, you've got a venue to trade it on for the most part and the liquidity to do it with. And you'll end up finding that, you know, you're holding a big bag of something that when the market moves against you, you just don't have the ability to liquidate. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why taking profits all the way along as opposed to, you know, holding on to things and trying to get the magic 100 times and those sorts of things can be dangerous because, you know, like if you go and look at a lot of those coins that were doing really well a couple of weeks ago, the liquidity on them will be so low now that you really can't sell much without like major slippage along the way.
Yeah.
But the big question for me, the elephant in the room here is, when I spoke to you guys, not other people, you guys, 2 weeks ago. Now, 2 weeks is 14 days, just to remind you. And because I know some of you have short memories. You were shitting tokens on the show here. I mean, you were talking to me about low cap alts. That was 14 days ago.
11 days ago, Ren, I posted something on Twitter saying it was an unpopular opinion and that I thought that we might be at a top. And that It's because of how all of us, you included, felt overwhelmed, too much project, too much stuff. Everyone wants you to chill. We're tired. If we're tired, it doesn't matter what the retailer are doing. Like you guys at home, what you're doing, you don't see this. And when I feel like this, you aren't going to feel it until you feel it like yesterday or the day before. So that's what I was trying to tell people about. And I was like, just take profit all week. I was like, take profit, take profit.
Yeah, but Rand, and even I think people like me, I've said, take your low caps. I've said this months ago. I've been saying it. Buy low caps, take your profits, move them to big caps. Even then, I think, and again, I'm partly to blame. I think people probably had too much of the portfolio in low caps, thinking they're going to 100x, right? And I think portfolio allocation is key. I still have some low caps. I'm not dumping my low caps. What I'm saying is though that I'm more bullish right now on the big caps until we see maybe a euphoria phase. And I think the low cap cycle ended around April, where again everything was doing 100x, and I think after that point, people got so burned that they were down so much that they just stopped looking into low caps. I mean,
it ended with dogs.
Yeah,
it ended with dogs, bro.
But
100x on a dog every day. What the hell are they going to buy a real project?
But if you were in low cap since January, you made some ridiculous gains on from January to April. You were making 10, 15, 20, 25 X's market buying a lot of low caps. I know I was, but people weren't taking the profits and moving them to safer assets. Rand, I said in your show, I doubled down ETH at 1900. I wish I sold at 4,000. I didn't, but I had a feeling that narratives are going to start pushing the space more and more.
So are you saying now that you're not investing in any new, Biz, Wolf, Coach, to a lesser extent, Lisa, you guys had a business of investing in, because of your knowledge in the market, you guys made a lot of money investing in early stage projects, which used to come to market and do 100x, even though you didn't get most of your tokens. Are you saying that that's finished? That party's finished?
I don't think so.
No,
I think if you look back 2017, 2018, you got a tail of probably like 2 or 3 months where investing in those projects was still profitable. Like we're probably not going to see too many 100x's. Having said that, ironically, Giro and some of the cards projects, which is why you brought up that token before and why it's holding so strong, did a couple of 100x's recently. But I think like there's still opportunity there to make respectable money from those sorts of things. What I would caution in regards to that sort of stuff is, again, like you said, you don't get a lot of tokens up front with a lot of those sorts of deals. And what we saw when the market cools down is that projects that you put money into in that early stage end up delaying things. And they're the real wrecked bags that you have. They're not the ones that are down 90%. They're the currents or hypernets or whatever of bygone eras where they never even released a token kind of thing. So I think, like it's one of those things where I'm keeping a close eye on some of the IDOs which are still coming out and seeing how they perform. And I still think people will make money off those in the short term because it is actually a good way to make money in a coolish market. But if the market doesn't turn, then, obviously things will slow down and projects will slow down themselves, and we won't see as many projects launching in general anyway.
Well,
I think what we need a few projects. We need a few projects to do well for public sale. Then I think it'll turn. Unfortunately, I don't know of many that have been doing that well. And again, we had projects like Paid when they launched at 40 cents. Paid when even post crash went all the way to $6. We had projects like that people could market buy and that people could dwell off of. I think until we see that, I think people are going to stay away. So we are going to need some FOMO into these IDOs where people say, "Oh man, I missed project ABCD." Then I think we will see it again. But for the time being, and I'm talking about here and right now, from my community, people are not bullish on many new projects coming up.
Okay. Someone posted that Plan B said we're halfway in the bull market. I mean, I don't actually see that tweet, but apparently he said that we're halfway in the bull market. Maybe it wasn't Scott Melker's thing. I went for dinner with a guy yesterday. I want to show you. No one knows him. He's like a nobody, and maybe people should know him. His name is Michael Ruffy, and Michael has 18 followers on Twitter. But he said to me yesterday, guys, I've been telling you for a while that there's a head and shoulders that formed on Bitcoin and it's going to collapse. And I said, bullshit. It's always good in hindsight. He said, go look at my Twitter. And I said, all right, show me your Twitter. And he pulled out his Twitter. his tweet handle is Michael Ruffy8, and he says, "Head and shoulders top?" Question mark. And this was on May the 12th. And he said it again, head and shoulders top on BTC on May 11th. And no one was listening to the guy. No one was listening to the guy.
He did put a question mark there.
I think,
Yeah.
He did ask. Yeah.
Look, I don't think this was like it's not a technical movement, this sort of stuff, you know. Like, sure, there's probably some technical indicators. I'm not as much of a technical guy as some of the other people on the stream. But I think this was heavily driven by sentiment, and then it was heavily driven by, like, you know, the news cycle or whatever you want to call it, the FUD cycle, as it were, where people pile in on top of this sort of thing and work to push it down. Yeah, it's like people are looking for opportunity to do these sorts of things at all times. And like, that's kind of the thing when we were talking before about like China FUD, like one of the beautiful things like a couple of months ago was, you know, like there was a new round of China FUD. We were in the midst of a bull market and it didn't have any effect whatsoever. You know, we just cruised on through. Everything kept going up. And this is why I feel more bearish than ever is that we're actually looking at some of this stuff is probably just rehashed old stuff from, again, bygone eras where it's having an effect on the market. And it just shows that there is that fear out there and people are looking to react to that sort of stuff. And that's a bearish thing in itself.
Yeah.
So is there more negative news coming out now, or are we just looking for the negative in the news? So it just feels like everything's coming out at the same time. Biden tax, China ban with Elon. Is there more negative news coming out, or is the media just focusing more on the negative and ignoring the positive?
I think they just need to flush it all out, just get it all out, and then we can just start going again. And it's like if it all comes out at once, it just clears it all out, and off we go. So,
well, how much more do you want? I mean, just how much more do you want? You got you have Walter Bloomberg, who just tweeted that China reiterated its clampdown on Bitcoin trading, mining, whatever the hell that means. I mean, does that mean that China's now going to stop mining? I mean, let's just read what he says. He says
his tweet basically said, reminder to FUD.
Say that again?
It's the same thing as Bitcoin's dead. That's what I said.
Yeah, like Bitcoin mining in China is just like FUD that happens and gets recycled. It's the same stuff. Like every 6 to 12 months, it just comes out, and it's like, yeah.
Okay.
The same as
to be fair, I think this one came. I posted a tweet before. I think it came from like the vice premier or something like that. Like it's not just a usual generic one. It's coming from higher up the chain.
They're probably just copying what the U.S. is doing and going regulated, which is what we all knew eventually at some point they were going to push harder and harder for. And it will. We all know it's coming. Like we can stay away from it as long as we can until we can't.
And guys, there is good news. Institutions like, you know, Kathy Wood came on and said 500K BTC. You know, I know JP Morgan keeps flip-flopping, but, you know, there are people who go on CNBC every day. You know, Rand, I know you know, you were CNBC OG. They go on every day and they're talking positively about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So there are like hedge funds like David Rubenstein who are talking positively about the future of cryptocurrency. But I do believe we are focusing on the FUD just because the price is low. And every time FUD comes out, we go down, you know, we go down considerably.
But that's how market works, right? You know, when the market's good and good news comes out, it reacts better. When it's bad and bad news comes out, same sort of reaction, you know? So we're just in that cycle now, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was
it looks like the CCP are Elon Musk fans when they take his opinions on crypto seriously and how
but even look at last night.
Isn't energy efficient.
Fred, do you want to tell everyone? Do you want to tell everyone on the stream what you just sent me on WhatsApp?
Was it a dick pic?
I didn't think you'd read it before.
Whoa.
It's a tweet from Lil Moon Lambert.
I'm not gonna make you say it. I'm not gonna make you say it because you cannot talk like that with a lady on the stream. I'm just gonna call up the tweet.
Okay, I think that's a good idea.
This is what Fred just sent me on WhatsApp. I mean, can you believe it? This is what Fred just sent me on WhatsApp. You read it for yourselves, guys, because I can't read it like this.
Yeah, the lady posted that. The lady posted that.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Okay,
Copies that.
for those people listening on that,
It's true.
The clitoris has
That's
8,000.
actually probably true. It's like
Yeah, it's so true.
Look, as long okay, so guys, we got 5 minutes left. Closing thoughts. Bear market, extended bear market, or glitch in a bull market. Very quickly, Coach. Extended bear market or glitch in a bull market?
Normal correction in a bull market. It's only been number 2 this whole bull market. So just chill out. And if you're emotional, take a day off, relax, go and spend time with your kids, do stuff that makes you happy, and then come back and look at the chart again.
All right, Winston, I want to ask you a different question. Winston, the question that I have for you. Say that, I'm asking this for a friend, just by the way, just asking for a friend. Say that you're holding a whole lot of small cap alts. Do you trade the small cap alts into Bitcoin and ETH today and take your losses, or do you wait?
Well, I'd probably say that if you are holding those sorts of things, you're probably not like taking losses per se. It's more paper losses kind of thing. So, when the market recovers, it'll go in cycles, and the majors will recover first, and then smaller caps will probably come second. So you'll have a better chance of making money back in the shorter term doing that, and probably be a little bit safer than holding on to those and waiting for the sort of full cycle and them to come back around.
You're saying don't marry the one night stand. Just
always.
Can't turn a hoe into a housewife. I'm sorry.
Don't marry the
I mean,
one
like profit taking all the way through to ETH when you've been trading Uniswap is important. I mean, like, even when the market was melting down, you could sell like $2 million worth of ETH for a tiny cost, and it was fully liquid, and you could just move quickly. You couldn't do that when you're holding 50 different small cap alts,
So Wolf, can I ask a quick question? What is asking for a friend? What is your confirmation that we've entered somewhat of a extended bear market, even if it's only for like 6 months? What indicator do you have your eyes on?
Well, probably looking at the performance of like projects coming out, and that once projects start returning, like the 1 times, 2 times sort of stuff, and no longer become equitable for people to fund, or they just stop releasing tokens. Because I think a lot of this is what we get is like recycled capital, and like people like ourselves, we make money on deals and we put it into the next deal. So like I'm going to be pretty hesitant putting money into deals moving forward. And that kind of like it's slowing down the system in that regard, So that's one of the indicators. And then looking at just the general health of the market, and like seeing where those, like Biz was saying before, where those institutional people are coming in and how long they hold on to their current thoughts on crypto and buying these sorts of dips. Because you know how it is, like you could buy a couple of these, and then when it keeps dipping, you sort of reevaluate your strategy there. So like that's why I'm interested to see how it plays out over the next little while. I have a gut feel that we sort of like do a slow grind down as opposed to any more sort of panic moves, because that's what we've seen before. Like stuff really doesn't, like the negative 90% you get doesn't happen in a day. You get the negative 40%, and then it slowly works its way down the other 50, So I really think, just again, sitting on the sidelines, waiting for things to sort of even out for a while, and picking a spot is better than trying to catch knives, as it were.
Okay, Lisa, quickly, we've got 30 seconds, and then Biz, we've got 30 seconds, and I'm going to love you only because otherwise YouTube just ends the stream. So Lisa, extended bear or a glitch in a bull?
glitch in a bull, healthy correction, 4th wave, and it's slow sort of sideways accumulation and back up. 124K target.
Biz.
Ooh. This is a glitch, guys. Bull runs keeps going. Just point of reference, in February, ETH went from 2,000 to 1,200 in a matter of days. People thought we were wrecked, and it recovered. So right now, we're still down about 30-35% from all-time high for ETH. It's going to keep going, man. Just keep going.
Yeah.
All right. Love you all madly. You guys are my only friends. I'll see you guys again next week. Until then, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. So, love you all. Guys, I will see you again on Monday, 6 a.m. EST for Sheldon, so 10 a.m. for this show. Until then, if you are watching us, trade well, my friends.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research.